Hello and welcome to another episode of How Would You Rate Your Pain? As you know, we explore vastly different stories of our guests as we go through the episodes. Just a little heads up that our guest today is going to be sharing his experiences being a rescue diver. And so there are some details that are quite vivid in the things that he's going to be sharing. I just want you to think about, how that might affect you. And if you feel like you need to skip this episode, we'll see you next time. Otherwise, let's jump right in. I can't wait for you to hear this one. Hello and welcome to How Would You Rate Your Pain? We will be exploring life, loss, love, and the power of resilience. I am Dr. Tiffany Bartell. Thank you for listening, and I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Hello, and welcome to another episode of How Would You Rate Your Pain? I'm Dr. Tiffany Bartell, your host, and today I have with me Kevin Angelilli. I said it right?
Yeah, you did.
I was practicing his last name because it's a really cool last name, and I wanted to say it right.
Thank you.
So Kevin, you have such an interesting story and you do just fascinating work. Could you tell listeners what you do right now? And then we'll probably rewind the tape and start a little earlier.
Oh, no worries. Yeah. Basically what I do right now is I don't do anything that's really exciting. At my 9 to 5, I write grants.
I mean, that's exciting for the world.
For
the environment.
People who get the grants. It's great.
Yeah.
Other than that, I teach scuba. And
Yes.
I have a small dive shop here in town. It's right now out of my garage. Hopefully, if things go good next year, we'll have a storefront. It's called TriStar Scuba. And I've taught scuba now for about 30 years.
Wow.
I'm an instructor, trainer, PADI course director. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I teach all kinds of stuff. And it's a lot of fun.
So you teach scuba, but you also teach... I'm saying recovery, but that's not the correct term.
It's public safety diving.
Public safety diving.
The newest catch-all phrase for it. It's basicly bringing back anything that's in the water, whether it's for evidence, whether it's a missing person, whatever. Don't like to use, dead, drowned, bad words.
Yeah.
But that's what you're after.
Okay.
You do have to do those recoveries, and it's it has nothing to do with me. It's about when you show up somewhere and somebody's family's going, "Hey, Billy, Susie died. We want them back." A lot of times, as you know, people can't or won't begin to process death until they actually see the deceased person. So as long as they are missing and underwater,
there's a question.
Yeah. And one of the worst stories I have, this would have been back in the late 90s. I got a call on a Monday to find a person. And I showed up and the family runs over and they're like, "Oh, are you here to find Billy?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's your expectation?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're going to bring him out of the water alive, right?"
Oh.
So I'm like, "Let me talk to the people here. I don't even know the situation." So I go over and talk to the sheriff's department, and the deputies are like, "He was swimming with friends Friday night, Saturday, Sunday."
Okay.
There's
no way.
Nothing.
Yeah. That's hard.
The problem is when you're talking about pain, you can't process it until you have that body. A lot of times people just won't. So here's this family thinking, "I'm going to bring this guy out alive." 3 days later.
That's hard, yeah.
That's not happening. So, yeah, it's about that. It's also about finding evidence, which is the fun part, because we have to do exactly the same things underwater as if you would find evidence right here on this table.
Wow.
So one of the things you have to do, if this is your murder weapon, in court, we have to say where this was. Was on the table? No. Where is it in this room?
So coordinates and
You have to triangulate from 2 different points, 3 different points, where this is, where its height is.
Yeah.
And it's fun. We do that, and then we go, okay, this is a rubber gun. It's a red gun. And we take it and we go out into the water. And, okay, guys, gals, go find it and do what we just did here on the surface. And it's a lot harder because you have to run. You have to run 2 different lines to triangulate to it. Then the third part is we will have to take a buoy and float it to the surface and measure that depth. And a lot of times what we have to do is take a dive computer and put it right next to it and take a picture that shows the depth. Then you have to go to the surface and triangulate and get the GPS coordinates of the surface. And then say it's however many feet down. Yeah.
Wow. So you have to find it, but not move it, and then map it. And then, like, I'm just picturing some of the lakes that I've been in, and they're so, like, you can't see your feet, you know, let alone. So how does that work?
You ever play Blind Man's Bluff? And honestly, what you end up doing is laying on the bottom and just putting your arms out, and you feel, and you move inch forward, inch by inch by inch. Okay, cool. On a hard surface, that's great. A lot of times in the lakes here and the rivers, whatever, when you get to the bottom, you can find a muddy bottom.
So it's thick.
You can shove your hand into it. So anything with any weight can sink into the mud.
Okay.
So a lot of times what you'll be doing is feeling, and then you'll find a crevice or a little peak of a hole. And that's when you reach down into it.
Oh, that's so interesting. It seems kind of like a miracle that anything gets found if that's the way it gets done. And then, you know, if you can't see on the bottom and you feel something and you think that's what it is, like, but you can't move it, what do you do?
You have to do everything you have to do.
Okay.
Then if you pick it up and go, that's a wrong gun.
Yeah.
You can't throw it back.
Right.
You know, I've got many stories of going out and doing cars, lifting cars. And, okay, guys, we have put in a 2-door sports car. I'm sorry, that's a truck.
Oh, no.
It's an SUV.
Next car.
That's a minivan.
No.
Where's my car? And
oh, man.
What we'll end up finding is, you know, just here, and when I was working in South Florida, it was the same thing. When it would be dry, the water levels would drop, and they would fly over and say, okay, we can see a car or a vehicle.
Okay.
And then you go down and you search for it and hook them up and bring them out. And it gets to be interesting, because you'll find where if a group of kids is stealing cars and throwing them in the river, the lake, whatever, they'll put 3 or 4 of them in one spot. And all of a sudden, you're answering all kinds of questions.
Interesting. Yeah. So, it sounds like this is a job that, like, takes a lot of patience, and you have to be willing to, like, do one thing for a really long time.
Yes. You know, there's a lot of classes you have to go through.
Okay.
Just to get there.
Okay.
And a lot of people find out they don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking a little bit that it's one thing to go to a resort and, you know, do a resort course. Oh, hey, look, yeah, we're going to put you in the water. It's going to be great. This is fun. Look at all this stuff.
Look at the fish. Yeah.
When there's nothing to look at.
Yeah.
And the only thing you have is that fear of, I can't see anything. I don't know if I'm up or down.
Okay.
Your bubbles make noise, and that's all you can hear.
Wow.
And it's very disorienting. If this is a tree limb and you get hung up in it, that's a huge problem. If there's something down there and you accidentally, oh my goodness, is that one of those giant catfish? And all these fears, they're all fake. Don't worry about it. There's nothing like that.
There's no giant catfish?
No giant catfish. It's not like that.
But those thoughts come.
Those thoughts come. And if you're looking for people, then you're thinking, what happens if I see them?
Yeah.
What happens when?
You're just waiting.
And it's difficult. So if you're looking for just an item, and sometimes people will throw multiple guns in the water. You know, that was how I actually got into this, was in law enforcement. We had a small pawn shop broken into, and they stole all the guns and all the ammo. Kids went out, shot the guns. Oh, empty, no more rounds. And they throw it in the river.
Yeah.
So they kept throwing them in the river.
Yeah.
And I come into work one afternoon, and they said, can you swim? I'm like, yeah. Why? You're the dive team. That was all it was.
Oh, my goodness.
Went out, did the Charlie Chaplin walk, kicked a couple guns.
Yeah.
Went to the local dive shop and said, hey, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
They said, well, let's get you some classes. We'll get you some stuff. And from that moment on, I was hooked. I fell in love with it and loved diving. Now, the recreational side is really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And as people work through the different classes to get to public safety, we start making it harder and harder and harder to see. The visibility gets less. The conditions get colder, rougher, tougher.
Yeah.
Because going out in the river, not much fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Especially like you have currents and like all sorts of things and lots of squishy bottom of the lake. Yeah.
Squishy mud's the worst.
I just can't imagine.
No, it's just gross. Then you come out and you can smell it.
Oh, no.
And what's bad is when you're down there and you can still smell it. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I didn't even think about having to smell things underwater. Oof. So you mentioned, law enforcement. Maybe we can kind of rewind and back up the story. How did you end up here? Because I know when we've talked in preparation for this, you've just lived, I feel like, 17 lives.
Yes.
Coming to this, and you're not that old.
I am. On the rate you're paying, yeah, trust me.
Oh.
It was cold this morning. I know it. It hurts. So yeah, my really long story starts after the military. I got into law enforcement, and I was, like I said, working in a small town in rural West Virginia, middle of nowhere, and we had these guns in the river. And that started the dive career. And every month I was taking a new class, and I got further and further along. Well, just prior to that, I'd been at work and actually got hit by a car. And took out my left knee. And
that was in the line of duty.
In the line of duty, yeah. I was at work, and guy runs up to the car and says, "Hey, my girlfriend's trying to run me over."
Oh.
I don't see her. Where is she? And she came around the corner and tried to do a traffic stop, and basically an ambulance pulled out in front of her, and then her and then me. So the ambulance sees my lights and they stop. So the three cars line up.
Blocks them in.
So as I walk up to the crook's car, the ambulance thinks everything's okay. It starts going forward. So I flash my flashlight, and they stop, and the paramedic got out.
Oh.
And I ran up and said, "Get back in. I don't know what's going on." So by the time I looked back, she had backed up and was pulling around. And I threw the paramedic into the truck, and I'm standing out in the open trying to get out of the way, and got hit in the knees.
Oh, man.
So after she takes off, I spun up, got up, and got my brain back in gear, got in the car, chased her down. And
what? Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Had a nice, fun chase, everybody's dreams, police car chase.
Oh, my goodness. You must have had so much adrenaline going not to feel like whatever just happened to your knee. Ugh.
No, didn't feel anything at that point. Got her arrested, and, back then, it was handwritten paperwork. So I sat down and wrote for about 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
And, you had to take them before the magistrate. So when I go to get up from the desk, my knees were both swollen. My hips hurt, my ankles hurt. And I was, doing the John Wayne walk, and I was like, what happened? What I didn't realize at that time was when she actually hit me, my head and upper body came down on the hood of the car.
Oh, no.
So I got a good concussion, and, did the rest of the night, got her arrested. She posted bond, and I ended up going to the hospital the next day.
The next day?
The next day. Nah, not right then. It'll be okay. I'm, in my 20s. I'll bounce up.
Yeah.
Didn't bounce too well.
No.
So anyways, that was the beginning of the end. Okay. So I ended up with knee surgery and rehab, recovery. Went back. We had the stolen guns. So then that fall rolled around, and I had real bad arthritis. So I go back to the doc. I'm like, what the hell's wrong? It hurts. You said it wasn't going to hurt. He played with my knee, and he goes, no, you got arthritis real bad.
In your 20s?
Yeah.
Okay. From the accident?
So, yeah, it was my 25th birthday, pretty much.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, great. So, by the end of when I was 26, I was pretty much out. So I went and started teaching diving a lot. And wasn't full-time law enforcement. I did part-time, reserve, different aspects of it. But I was always in it because I was still teaching.
Yeah.
And it was all about teaching people diving, which took me around the world and lots of good stuff, and worked my way up through the instructor ranks and instructor trainer. And so anyways, that's a long way around.
Yeah.
Living happily in Florida till I got divorced.
Yeah.
Lost everything.
Oh,
Went back to law enforcement.
yeah.
Met my new wife.
Yeah.
And
I've seen pictures. She's quite lovely.
I think
you did well.
Kelsey's awesome. She's very, very smart, very pretty.
And she dives.
And she dives.
Yeah.
It was like magic.
Oh.
So we ended up getting together, and we talked about getting engaged. Mm-hmm. She was in the middle of her finishing out her physical therapy, doctor of physical therapy stuff. So, okay. Next year we went, and she finished her residency program, and we took our second dive trip together down to Florida. Went down and saw my buddy, Captain Spencer Slate. He's in the Scuba Hall of Fame. So,
oh, is he?
Yes.
Okay. So those of you who know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah. It's one of those where you think, oh, yeah, hey, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty cool. I've got all this dive stuff. And then the guys I dive with are Hall of Famers. You know, one dude's got Emmys and stuff. And it's like.
Does it keep you humble?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just totally like.
Although, like, your resume is not that shabby, so you can hang.
Yeah, I can hang with these guys, but and now they're getting into their late 70s and 80s. I mean, and they look at me, you're the young guy.
Yeah, the youngin'.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so we go diving, and Captain Slate's in the World Scuba Hall of Fame for being a shark feeder, and that's what he does.
Oh.
If you Google top 10 things on the planet to do, Captain Slate's Scuba Adventures is one of the top 10 things on the planet to do.
So I'm guessing when you say shark feeding, it's not like throwing things into the water from a boat.
It's wearing old chainmail gloves from like the medieval times, and they have a big bucket and reach in, pull out food, and you feed the sharks as they swim by. You know. And there's a lot of them that are nurse sharks. Nurse sharks are very calm, cool, and collected, and they pick them up and play with them. So the first time I take Kelsey to a shark feed the year before. We're sitting down there, and they feed the sharks. And nurse sharks are actually sharks that can stop and lay on the bottom.
Oh.
And she has two of them come up to her knees. She's like petting the sharks. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So two more come up behind her and like bump her legs. So she's petting 4 sharks.
Oh my goodness. And
I'm
you're
sitting
like,
there.
this is the woman of my dreams.
Yes. I'm like, I'm marrying this one. She's a keeper. So we get on the boat, and she's like, is it like this on every dive? No.
You're like, you're magic. And
Yes,
sharks love you.
You are
for all the right reasons.
a mermaid.
Oh.
So we go back the next year, and I had custom created a ring for her that has a shark swimming up the side of the ring towards the diamond.
Oh my goodness.
Scariest thing I ever had to do in my entire life was put this ring onto my pinky finger, put a glove on. Because all I could see was.
Took it in the water.
Yeah, we got engaged underwater. So I gave her the ring underwater.
Okay, you said you got engaged on a dive trip, but I didn't realize it was like on a dive trip.
So we're feeding sharks.
Yeah.
My buddy Captain Slate's feeding the sharks. About halfway through the shark feed, he picks up the bucket and comes over. Everybody else on the entire dive knew.
Okay.
We put Kelsey in the water, and I'm showing everybody the ring. Hey, we're getting engaged. They're like, yeah, cool. She doesn't know. So we get down there, and I have a little slate.
Oh.
You got to look at the camera.
Oh my goodness, guys.
And I write on the slate, I had it all preset. I said, will you be my forever dive buddy? Will you marry me?
Guys,
So we had.
if you're looking for ideas, this is pretty romantic. Some people may not find the shark part romantic. So know your partner. Know your partner. Yeah.
So, and the fun part is we used to do underwater engagements when I worked down there with Captain Slate for years.
Okay.
We did underwater weddings. We did all this fun stuff.
Oh my goodness.
So he comes over, and I have to pull off my glove.
Right.
Pull off the ring.
Yeah.
So in my nightmares, Doc,
Okay.
this little fish would eat it, then a big fish ate the little fish, and then the shark ate the big fish, and my ring's gone.
Right.
So it was the fastest ring exchange
Yeah.
to get it on her finger.
Executed perfectly.
And of course she said yes.
Oh, yay. Good.
And we had one of her friends from PT school was doing the video, and a couple of other friends had come diving with us, and
That's
they were holding the
amazing.
slates and everything.
Oh my goodness.
And then of course, to finish it off, we had to do the underwater kiss.
Oh,
So
okay.
you
How do you do that with them? Okay, here we go. This is a lesson.
The mask stays on.
Yeah.
And you've got the regulator, so you pull it out and you blow bubbles.
Okay.
And you want to lean your head Because if
Okay.
we both lean the same way, it works.
Okay.
And we did underwater kiss. So www.tristarscuba.com. Look up the video. It's there. It's on Facebook. It really happened. But
That's very cool.
yeah, we did weddings.
That's
one of the
amazing.
best ones. We had a group come in, and the bride and groom were certified, and they had adult kids in their 20s and 30s. They weren't, so they did a resort course.
Oh.
And down in Key Largo, there's a statue that's called Christ of the Abyss.
Okay.
And it's a statue of Jesus, arms out, looking up in the water. And everybody, it's world famous. There's one in Key Largo and one in Italy. Mm-hmm. So people come from around the world to see them. And we would take people, and I take the students, and right before we get in the water, the bride says, "Oh, I got to fix this on my gear." The groom says, "Oh, geez, I'll stay." Surprise wedding. So we take all of the family out, and I say, "Yeah, come on, we'll just go out and look at the statue. We'll meet you there." It's all a plan. They had no plan. We did this all the time.
This is amazing.
So as the statue's over here, we all come down, and I get a couple pictures, and then we, hey, you guys over here, you guys over here, and we'll get a picture, of being here, and they're looking at the statues. "Oh, yeah, it's a cool picture. It's a cool picture. You guys want this one?" And then we tell everybody, look that way. And as everybody turns, it's now the aisle. And here comes the bride
my
with a
goodness.
veil, the white gloves. And of course, the groom, has the quintessential
Yes.
tuxedo T-shirt.
Amazing.
And we would do underwater weddings.
But like an underwater surprise wedding is really
Yeah.
fabulous.
It was great. They had,
That sounds like so much fun.
yeah, the family didn't know. The adult kids had no idea. And then they're like, "Oh, now we get why we had to be like all this other stuff." So
So funny.
it was great.
So you sound like a very big water person. Like, how were you introduced to your love of water? Because you mentioned before we started that like your family, your mom's a nurse, and like you just grew up with a lot of people that were first responders, and so being a helper or being in like kind of gnarly situations, that was natural. But then there's this other side of water.
Yeah, well, the fun part of my life has been, wow, you've got all these cool accomplishments. Yes, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, it's not like now. Now, at 8 years old, we can put a kid on scuba in a swimming pool. At 10 years old, you can be certified as a diver.
Wow.
Yes. Back when I was probably like 14-ish, I found scuba. And I went and I did a Discover Scuba.
Were you living in Florida then?
No, I was in rural West Virginia.
Okay.
Great place where every dive story starts.
Yeah.
No. So I went to the local YMCA pool and did a Discover Scuba where they put you in a pool and you're like, "Ah, take a class, cool." So I went home and sat down with Mom and Dad and said, "This is what I'd like to do." And my dad said, "Absolutely no, I don't want a bunch of flippers laying around the house."
Okay.
That ended the story for 10 years.
Really? Okay.
Otherwise, I would have started diving at 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope. Took the
Yeah.
long way around.
Okay.
So, I knew about it. I knew I wanted to do it, just never got a chance to. So eventually when I did get the chance, I was all in and just went all the way through instructor and just never looked back. And just, I loved it. But it was also therapy for after being hit by the car for my hips and my knees and my ankles and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
it's good for exercise. It's good for the mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of research around that. So what does it look like? Like, what does the training look like to get to participate in being a public safety diver? Because you have to know how to scuba, and then you have to know what that looks like in that environment, and it sounds so intricate.
It is. And to get to that level, you have to do your open water, which is your first class, your advanced open water, then become a rescue diver. Rescue's a misnomer.
Okay.
It's helping your buddy. So if we're diving and you have a problem, whatever it is, your tank's just not in the BCD right. If you're just, whatever.
Something goes awry.
You help your buddy. That's what it is. It's buddy assistance.
It's not helping like an outside person.
Yeah, it's not, well, I mean, yeah, if we're diving and somebody else has a problem, we can help them.
But it's helping another diver.
Yeah, but it's not Baywatch.
Yeah.
It's not Hasselhoff coming at you. Nothing like that. Then the next class actually becomes the public safety stuff.
Okay.
Where we teach, put you on a tether, put you into lower visibility, get you out there looking for evidence.
Okay.
Even at that point where you're considered a public safety diver, you're just getting started.
Oh, okay.
Because you still haven't gone into zero viz. You have, and most of the time, public safety diving is done in a dry suit. So your feet are covered all the way to your hands. We put on rubber gloves. Your face is covered down to this. And then you have a full face mask that goes on. So you have a dry suit class and a full face class. That's when you're environmentally sealed. It's pretty much a hazardous materials type class. Okay. So you don't get wet anymore. You don't feel the cold anymore.
So you can dive anywhere.
You can dive anywhere, anytime. Totally cool.
So it's interesting. I didn't know that you would have to take extra classes for the kind of gear that you wear.
Yes.
So what does that entail? Like, what do you learn in those kind of classes that's different than, just someone who's resort diving or whatever?
A full face mask is kind of like you'll see the new snorkeling masks, which are cool. And if you've ever used one, you'll try to talk. Well, we have full face masks that have audio systems. So you can be in contact with the other diver as well as the surface.
Okay.
So the guy or gal on the surface has headphones and a transducer in the water so they can pick up the sound. We can talk to each other. They can talk to us. All that kind of cool stuff. The expensive ones have headlights that shine out.
Oh, wow.
They have video cameras.
Okay.
They can use infrared. They can use different colors so they can actually see better than the diver can.
Oh, interesting.
And help guide you to do things. And that's what you do in full face. You learn how to dive it, and then, of course, take it off. If something goes wrong, for whatever reason, you go to adjust it, you actually break it, don't know how that would happen. You have to be able to take it off and switch to a normal regulator and have a spare mask in your pocket.
Underwater.
Do all that stuff.
Wow.
Dry suits, since when you go down, everything compresses, you have to add air. So in the center of it, you have an air inlet valve, and on your shoulder, you have an outlet valve.
Okay.
So, of course, we put air in, then, of course, air has to come out.
Okay.
But if it doesn't come out, we have to teach you how to let the air out, either through the arm or the face seal, the neck seal, through the wrist, depending on how you have it set up.
Interesting. Okay. So you have smart suits, but you have to know what to do if the smart suit doesn't work. Okay. Well, or something goes wrong.
Sure. One of the big problems would be if it fails and starts power inflating and just keep inflating and inflating and inflating, you have to dump that air.
Yeah.
And if you can't dump that air, you're going to go up.
Okay.
One of the other problems is if you get your feet up and they start filling with air and your outlet is on your shoulder.
Oh.
Now you have to tuck and roll. Oops, sorry.
Wow.
You have to tuck, flip your feet down so that air gets forced up, and then you have a bubble. So you got to get rid of those bubbles. And the outlet's on your elbow, so you do this.
So there's quite a bit of a science, or it's very physics-ish, And it's interesting, before we started, you were talking some about how you recover items and things, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about that, because there's so much math, it sounds like, that's involved. And
very much.
I think, what we think of when we watch shows and TV, it doesn't really do justice to kind of the very meticulous, tedious work of this.
Yes, there is a ton of science. You've got, like I said, to find an item, there's the triangulation, but it's a 3D world. So no matter what we triangulate this to, we have to also triangulate to the surface.
Oh, okay.
So at the surface, we have to have a GPS marker, which is typically your phone,
okay,
where you can pull up your compass and it'll give you the GPS coordinates. Boom, take a picture, and that'll give you exactly where it is. Then you have to have a picture of a dive computer below. If you've got enough visibility to see that computer clearly, you can also put down a compass to show the heading of where it is.
Okay, yeah.
So if we run in our triangulation lines, then we can run a compass heading out on the different lines. Where it gets really involved is if you have more than one object that you're triangulating in, where are they in relation to each other?
Oh, so you have to add like extra measurements in there.
Yes.
Wow.
So there'd be a measurement from here to here.
Yeah.
And if they're on different heights,
oh,
you have to do that as well.
Wow. So it's just so meticulous.
It is, yeah. There's a lot of physics. And then if we're lifting an item underwater, one of the things is the deeper you go, the more air compresses. So if you need to fill up a lift bag, which is just a big, giant, plastic, heavy-duty bag that you tie to the object, you have to fill it with enough air that it will lift from depth. So before we go and do that, we have to know how much air to take with us in a separate tank to fill it with.
Oh my, wow. So a lot of calculations.
Yes. And, unfortunately, once you get into certain things, you find out what's called blood rules. Because somebody else did it wrong and died. And if you go deep and you have to fill up a bag with air, people used to do it from the tank they had on their back and they were breathing from.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's not lifting. Keep filling it. Keep filling it. It's not lifting and oops.
Oh,
no. That's why it's called a blood rule. Yeah.
Okay.
So we take extra tanks that we have set up specifically with lift bags with.
So how much of the classes that you teach are like instruction and how much is telling them scary stories that makes them do it right?
Well, the fun part is until you get to the public safety stuff, I don't tell any scary stories. I don't do all that stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to traumatize the general public.
Yeah, we don't talk about feeding sharks unless somebody's really wanting to go and see and do. There's classes for shark awareness that tell you about what they do, and you show videos. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. No, let's go to, feed one. That's a different story.
It's
a lot different. But once people get into that level, or if they're in police, fire, EMS, you've got this background that scary things happen,
when
bad
they're
things happen.
more situationally aware.
And that's when you can start saying, hey, look, we know if we're on the surface, we can breathe. Underwater, oh, yeah, we can't breathe. So that's when it comes into not just my tank, different tanks, air from a friend. All those things come into play. And there's a lot we can do with it. And you just have
there's a lot of trust you have to have with the people that you dive with.
Yes. And that's what you have to do in these classes is actually build the trust with you as a partner. Well, then when you have a team of 10, 12, 20 divers, eventually you have to do training with all of those folks. Yeah, sure, I've trained entire teams. Yes, everybody believes me and trusts me. If these two do all their training together, so during training, you swap. And
That's so smart.
You train with everyone. Then once we're done with the base training and certification, we do continue education, and we continue different people. And then you have what's called multi-level training, where you'll have somebody at the top teaching somebody a little less. And you have that staircase of certifications going up. And that's how you build trust among an entire team.
It seems like the training can be like a method of rapport building too. Like, so if you had to join another team that you hadn't worked with before, you guys kind of have this shared language and shared experiences, and like if you're doing this, you're trained up to here, and you know what I need you to know, and I know what you need me to know. And that's kind of lovely. Yeah.
When everything is a stratification. If you start looking at police, fire, EMS, whatever, EMS, you've got a EMT basic, advanced, or paramedic. There are certain skills that at each level you're required to know. Fire department, you've got, basic, when you get fire recruits, then you become an engineer, an officer, the supervisory upper levels. And the same thing in law enforcement, where you've got general law enforcement, your street folks, and then you eventually get your detective level, or you get, like SWAT. And even in SWAT, there's different verifications and stratifications. So all of these things revert back to the military background of where it all came from. It's this pyramid. So, and at times it's tough, especially somebody who's like me, that's an instructor trainer, and I show up somewhere. I found that I basically have to beat everybody in that room. In the classroom. and go, okay, look, here's my credentialing. This is why I'm able to teach you this before they'll listen.
So they can trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're trusting you with their lives.
Yes.
And
there's lots of stories about that. And when public safety diving was coming into the forefront, before that had been called police diver. It was cops only, none of these other people. And it didn't quite work because you find the people who think that way have only seen their own system.
Okay.
There are certain cities, counties, states, countries that do it different.
Okay.
And if you're in this tiny mindset of, I do it this way, you're going to fail massively.
You're not going to get all the research and the, forward movement and development.
Yes. So when I started pioneering this to be brought to the masses, one of the things I did was I have a huge PowerPoint presentation that I do. It's about a 2-hour awareness that I'd go out and talk with groups. And I'd go through part of my background, but not all of it.
Okay.
So if I was talking to a police department, I'd leave out the slide that had my law enforcement. I'd have my fire, EMS, whatever, go through the whole thing. Hey, what'd you guys think? And, the Walter sitting there looking at you like, well, you don't understand. We're cops. You're not. You don't understand what we do. Did the same thing with fire. Oh, we're fire. You don't know what we do. You don't understand. Blah, blah, blah. EMS. You don't understand. You don't know about death, destruction. Okay, cool. So you're saying if I knew what you knew, you would take training from me. They'd be like, well, yeah. And I forgot one slide. Click. And I'd put it up.
Okay. And so strategic.
Yeah. So, and what it did was a lot of people didn't understand that and they wouldn't believe it. And they didn't want to think that police, fire, and EMS don't work together. We all work together. But when it comes to who are you to teach me something that's going to put my life in danger?
Absolutely.
It becomes a different world.
Yeah.
And that fight is everywhere. You can do it with all these different things. And years ago, when I started in volunteer firefighting and things, I got very lucky. And, my phrase has always been, hey, if it's for free, it's for me. I'll do it. And I started taking classes. So they came to me one time, say, hey, we got a class. I'll take it. It's free. Cool. Yeah, great. I became an EMT. I'm like, how'd this happen? So 6 months later, I'm sitting there and they're like, hey, we got another free class, Kev. You want to do it? I'm like, yeah, sure. What is it? Hazardous materials technician.
Okay.
Whatever. I'm in.
Yeah.
What I learned as a hazmat technician was actually the glue that brought police, fire, EMS, and all this training together.
Okay.
And that's where the foundation of my book came from.
Yeah.
Public Safety Diving, All the Way to the Bottom, by me.
And it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. It's on anywhere you buy books. The only thing I haven't done is an audio book, but I've been told that...
you have a great voice. Hey, they record audiobooks here. You need to hit Trey up on your way out.
Yeah, one of the funniest parts is when I first released the book, a lot of my students read it, and they're like, when I read the book, I heard your voice, and it just cracked me up.
Yeah.
So, and they said, especially like reading the jokes and things. But, it was funny how all those different classes merged together. And I was the first person to put into print the breakdown because in hazardous materials, you have awareness. Hey, I know that can hurt me. You have operations. I can work with that a little bit, but I know it can hurt me, so I don't want to do too much. Then you have technician, which is public safety diver, where you're actually in the water working with it and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
You have a specialist level because now we've got ROVs, remote operated vehicles. We've got sonar technicians. We've got boat operators. In some places, you have to be a certified licensed Coast Guard captain to drive a boat.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. And then, of course, you have the officer level, which is a huge fight. I'm a XYZ, police, fire, EMS, captain, chief, whatever.
Yeah.
What do you know about diving? Nothing. You're not qualified to tell me what to do. And that is a showstopper. There's been many a times when I'd go on different scenes, events, large operations, and I'd talk to the person who was in charge. What do you know? Who are you willing to defer to be in charge?
Yeah.
And there were several times, I'm in charge, I know what I'm doing, you can't tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, I'm out. See you, bye.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
so then it gets dangerous.
You're not going to put me in harm. One of the other things we get into is like if you're working on a ship, you do what's called lockout, tagout. And basically you have somebody stand on the bridge and go, don't touch the engine start button. Because if you start that engine and somebody's down below and that prop starts turning, lockout, tagout.
Okay.
Again, blood rules, death rules.
Yeah,
and it's something they do in commercial diving. So you're also bringing in commercial diving, but you also do it if like your electricians know all of that. You turn it off at the box, boom, don't nobody turn it on. You put a lock on there so they can't.
Yeah.
And that's called lockout, tag out. You put a tag, hey, we're working in this space, we're going to do this. So you'd put divers below. You'd put a dive flag on it and say, do not touch divers in the water.
Wow. So many precautions. And that's where that trust and like, you know, kind of mutual like humility, but also being confident. And, you know, so it's really interesting, you know, we talked about you having like 17 lives. It seems like they've all kind of like blended, you know, because you really sound like you use all of your trainings to be able to teach this really niche, like specialized, you know, service.
It is. A lot of people think about it, don't even know public safety diving exists. They don't understand what all's involved. And one of the cool things that I found, the average public safety diver has some specialty in their main job. They're typically police, fire, EMS, but they're not just basic. Oh, I did the first class. No, they're like your police detectives, your police SWAT teams, your people who have the additional trainings. If they're EMS, they've got something else. Maybe they're working the hazmat side of things. Maybe they're working critical care. You know, one of the things I forget because I've done so many different things is even though yes, I'm still a paramedic, nationally registered NRP, nationally registered paramedic. I still have a Georgia license. When I was living and working in Florida, I was a hyperbaric chamber technician.
Oh,
so
wow.
if somebody got bent, DCS, DCI, actual dive injury, I could work the outside of the chamber to take them to the depth and do all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
But I was also the paramedic inside the chamber.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that was the fun part because you get down there and, you know, they get you pressurized, you get down to depth and you go, okay, we got 3 hours. So what stupid thing got you in here? And the stories were just wonderful, you know, and it was, I think it's an asset that I've had the 17 different lives that I've had to definitely melt all this stuff together and come out with something that actually makes sense.
Because other people don't have the time or maybe the fortitude to live as many different careers, but they need to learn, you know, what they need to know for this.
Yeah, there is so much. And this isn't taking anything away from anybody who's a public safety diver anywhere on the planet. There's more to it than the generic class book information that's out there.
Yeah. Oh, so much it sounds like. Well, to do it right too, because, you know, especially, I mean, you're recovering loved ones or you're recovering evidence. And if it's, you know, not done properly, that can affect somebody's, you know, whole trial.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when you start talking about evidence, I can go to the OJ trial, find a better one. But yeah, you know, if this is your murder weapon and that defense attorney can get this thrown out of court. Yeah. You let a guilty person walk free.
And you put the public in danger.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and we know that. So when we actually do these classes, it's fun, it's easy. And then you finally go, yeah, by the way, we've got 1 or 2 more of these dives and scenarios to do. Here's what I want you to think about. And that's when I'll tell one of these stories.
Okay.
And one of them that I normally tell is, so there I was, sitting there in court, and this snazzy attorney starts, where was it? It's in the water. We're at in the water. Well, about this far out, about this far over. Did you triangulate it? Did you take pictures? And I just let him reel himself in. Oh, you didn't ask for that. Well, here, would you like the drawings? Would you like the photos? That's an evidence if you want to pull out evidence, number 14, exhibit 14, 17, whatever. And then the guy just went, and of course the crook's sitting there going, because they knew. And that was honestly one of the big renaissances for me, where it went from, honestly, the first time we did it, and I walked out in the water and got it. And, we come back and they got the guy in the room, and they're grilling him. You did it. We know you did it. Blah, blah, blah. And he's, maybe, but you don't have any proof. So I'm standing there with a beach towel and my swim trunks and a gun, and I walk in and throw it on the table, and he starts crying. Like,
The evidence that you had found in the water, and he's like, oh, yeah.
So, at that point, he knows it's over. And we went back the next day and got the rest of the stuff. But, those moments are great. It'd be great video, TV kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it was that shining moment. Fast forward 4 or 5 years when I'm actually in court getting grilled. And this defense attorney actually kind of had half an idea that the stuff needed to be triangulated, photographed,
so he done a little
and everything. And,
research.
He was wanting to make sure that we did our homework, and he wasn't expecting me to be on the stand.
Well,
so it was one of those where you're like,
too bad for him.
bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
So then you probably have a reputation of like, if you've done it, it's probably correct, and that's not where you're going to get your loophole to get somebody off.
Yeah. Years later, I was going to court for a DUI case, totally nothing dive related or anything. And I was talking to the attorney, and he's like, afterward, he threw a fit. He's pounding on the table, he's screaming and yelling, and I'm like, what the heck, man? So we walk out, and he's like, hey, Kev, you got a minute? I'm like, no, I want to talk to you. No, come here. So we go in this other room, and he says, I've been watching you for quite a while. And he says, let me tell you what happened today. He says, 6 weeks or whatever ago, this guy comes to my office. I got a DUI. Here's the report. And he says, I saw your name and put it down and started playing Tetris on my computer, going, I'm taking notes. And he played Tetris. Honest to goodness, is what the guy did, the attorney. So he says, all right, cool. Yeah, that's your story. Yeah, go out and tell my secretary. Same thing. She'll write it down. Yeah. He's like, what'd you do? He says, I took notes. She'll type it up. So one day, the attorney's walking in, looks at the schedule, nothing on the schedule. Hey, secretary, I'm going. I'm going to go golf with my buddy. Okay, cool. She goes, no, you got court. What court? She says, the DUI. What DUI? It's the one you had me type up. So he looks, sees my name, and he goes, got it. Goes out to court. He says, I knew the guy was guilty because you did everything right.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, so why were you in there? And he says,
I got to make money.
Yeah. Well, honestly, he says, how much money did you make? He says, how much you make an hour? He says, don't tell me. Just think about it. And at the time, I was making like $15 an hour. Oh, this was in the 90s.
Okay.
Woohoo,
okay.
Big money. It was terrible. And he says, the guy paid me $1,500 to defend him, and I knew he was innocent, or he was guilty. There's nothing I could do. He says, unless you made a procedural error, he's cooked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he knew you, so he knew you didn't.
He knew I did everything right. And he says, you ever thought of going to law school? And I was like, yeah, but I'm broke and I'm poor and I make $15 an hour. Because maybe you should go to law school.
Okay. Did you?
No.
No. You had diving to do.
I had, yeah. See, if I would have done that, I wouldn't be sitting here today talking dive. And I love to dive a lot more than I like sitting in a courtroom. So, yeah.
So, I have two more last questions for you. One is, what's the hardest part of doing this job? And then the second is, do you have a favorite story of diving or teaching to share?
I've got.
You have like 20 million. Yeah.
So many stories. And I can honestly say this, the hardest part, there's two things that are the hardest. Number one, everything now is dispatched by your phone.
Yeah.
And when the dispatch goes off and you find out what it is and where it is, that's hard. But I also have to turn to my wife, Kelsey, and say, I'll be back. And she knows.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm safe. The guys I'm with are well trained. I'm going to come back safe. Everything's going to be okay. But that hug and the kiss that she gives me, that's the hard part.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell you a story without telling you a story.
Okay.
I've been doing this and doing the body recovery thing for 30 years, actually over 30 years. One thing that has not changed, and when I start teaching classes, I always ask, police, fire, EMS, what hasn't changed? What hasn't changed? Cops say, our guns. Now, what caliber are you carrying? It's not a revolver. What about this? Firemen, what hasn't changed? The water. Do we use foam? Dang, you got us. Okay, what in EMS hasn't changed? You guys, everything's changed. The one thing that I can say hasn't changed. Look at the camera.
Okay.
The cries of the family.
Oh, okay.
Never changes. Okay. The moment you bring somebody out of the water and the family sees them for the first time, whether it's at the water site or whether it's at the morgue or whatever, the cries of the mother has not changed.
Yeah.
So for your side of it, I sleep at night.
Yeah.
Not real well. But anyways, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Not from that. Yeah. But that is one of the things that has never changed. That is very, very difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm. And you know that, like, that sound, all that it means.
Yeah.
But, like, then we talked in the beginning, too, about how that sound is maybe the beginning of them starting to grieve and process what happened.
So I'll tell you this part, too.
Okay.
I can't say when it was, but there was a time when we went on a double drowning. And I found the first person, and we do rope signals underwater, and the guys pulled me up with retrieval of the deceased person. The family was at the scene, and the mom starts the wailing cry. And it hits me. There's another one in the water. So I put my regulator back in. I put on my dive gear. And as I'm going underwater, I can still hear the mother screaming.
Oh, that's hard.
That was one where I was like,
oh, that's hard.
I don't know if I really want to do this. And then I was like, I thought about it while I was under there looking for the second person. This is why I do it. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with any of that. The fact that you bring back that piece of evidence, that person, that is their family. The family's been torn apart.
Yeah.
Team, group, get to start that healing process for them.
And you do it so respectfully. And like, I know it's one of the things in your training is emphasizing being respectful and protecting the privacy of the body and the family.
Yeah, you know, it's they know who it is. You know, at some point they were doing a roll call, who's missing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's 1 and 2, or person 1. When you pull somebody out of the water, they know it's that person. There's no question in their heart, their mind, and everything. And that's when it becomes real. And the impact of that initial sight. You know, I couldn't tell you how many times we've done these recoveries of bodies and stuff, and we take them, put them in an ambulance, nobody sees it, and we're, got the TV news crew going, hey, look over here, that's a great picture, and they're doing stuff off to the side that they don't see.
Yeah.
We don't want them to see it. They don't need to see that.
Absolutely.
Because that'll be on the news at 6, 11, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and the family's got to see it and relive it, and see it and relive it. I don't want to be part of that.
No.
What I want to be part of is
healing. Yeah.
We did our thing, and I've had to do those interviews before, and it's like, oh yeah, here, let's talk about what the guys, gals, the team does, and this is everybody's got a part in it, and I draw the news in to me, so they're paying attention to what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So
they can do that in the background.
And then once we get them to the hospital, the morgue, wherever they're going to go, and the family, we very much, when I first started doing all this stuff, was trained. You clean them up. Yeah. You comb their hair. You make them look mostly
like themselves as much
back
as
to
possible.
Something. The picture they gave us to say this is who you're looking for. You pat their hair down, whatever. Wipe their faces off and that kind of thing. If it's something they can actually view, that's where you do those kind of things.
Wow.
And then you have them come in, and then when the family comes into that room, that scream is just not what you want to hear. So I'll tell you this. We'll cut here, and I'll tell you another story.
Okay.
And this is one of them that actually does bother me.
Okay.
And it's not for everybody.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can listen or not, and
tune out if you're squeamish in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So there I was working and was working as police chief, and I got a phone call that we had a fire, and there was a couple of kids that got burned and perished, died in the fire.
Okay.
So hours later, I'm working with the fire marshal, and we're doing the photos, the videos, and all that stuff to document where they were burned, how they were burned, and you're proving that it was accidental versus murder.
Right. Okay.
So he's like, hey, do me a favor. Go over there, grab the body, and roll it so I can get a picture of the back. This was hours
Oh, no.
afterwards, and they were still warm.
Oh, no.
At cooking temperature, hot,
Oh, no.
because they had been in the fire that long. That every now and then
Get you a little
I'll
bit.
wake up,
Yeah.
because you remember those. And it typically occurs at or near the time frame of when it occurred. So,
Well, I think that's why, like, it's important to thank first responders and service people for their service, because it's not just the things that you're willing to go in so nobody else goes in. It's the fact that you're willing to live a life of service in which you carry things that, it sounds like you have, coping skills for, but like that are still really hard, and you're willing to do that so that everybody else has their loved ones and everybody else can live at peace.
it is. It's hard. I had a good support group starting out, which helped me to be a better support group. And I don't know, the people that are working in the field, working on doctorates for peer support for police, fire, EMS folks. And after you tell the story so many times, you got to, because it gets to be too much. And, I told you stories of other people that didn't make it. And that one with the kids in the fire ended the career of several volunteer firefighters who had the guilt, the fear, the shame, the whatever, that, maybe I could have done this, I could have done that. There's nothing you can do. Another one, probably 6 months or a year before that, I was a sergeant working on the police department, and we had a house fire come in, and it was actually murder by arson.
Oh, no.
And when we showed up, we didn't have enough firefighters to do an entry, to do a search before the entire house burned. We lost several firefighters over that because they in their heads, if I hadn't worked, and, if I would have skated out of work, if I would have called in sick, I could have done this, I could have done this, I could have. There's nothing you can do to change it. It's the story's never going to change.
Right.
But it's that pressure.
Helplessness.
Yeah. If I'd have been 5 minutes faster.
Okay. Yeah.
You can't do it. And that's the pain. That's exactly the pains. And, for me, for them, it was the what could have been different. And that's what I think a lot of people have trouble
Struggles.
with. And it's, the thing that gets me the most is my shoulder injury and the multiple surgeries of trying to get it fixed and get it fixed and get it fixed. And it's not fixed. It's not fixed. It's not fixed. And I've had the shoulder injury since before I started diving.
Yeah, like 25, right, or something?
It would have been 88,
Okay.
1988.
Yeah.
When I hurt my shoulder, I was 19.
Okay, 19.
So,
wow.
6 years later, I got hit by a car.
Wow.
So,
wow.
it's achieve, crash, achieve, crash.
What do you think has helped you to, be so resilient? And, because you're still here and you have those hard things that you carry, but, you're still, you're still serving and you're still teaching people and you're still diving with your wife and still living. What do you think helped you?
Wow. I was not ready for that one.
You don't have to answer it.
No. It's good. It's a hard question. And I've struggled with that before. You go through all these things and you do all these things, and then you have several 2, 3, 4 a.m. wake-ups.
Yeah.
And you do question, why am I here?
Yeah.
Of all of the things that have happened, of all of these near misses, car crashes, things that were too close to actually, how did that miss me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I will eventually say it's by the grace of God that I'm here. If God didn't want me to be here, I wouldn't. So apparently I've got something to do, say, or teach that, and as long as he wants me to keep going, I'm going to keep going. So, it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see people that'll remind you of those faces and things. You'll look at the calendar and be like, man, I forgot something I got to do today. Something's on the schedule.
Like anniversary.
And all of a sudden it's an anniversary of whatever it is, whether it's, and, for me, a lot of times it's injuries. I've had several serious injuries, several close calls.
It sounds like you're still like living with the body that shows that.
Yeah, and I got the scars. It's the old, I forgot what that show was called, how I got that scar kind of thing. And it's like, okay, let me show you. And it's, and in your line of work, it's not always physical scars either.
Right.
There's a lot of mental scars in this. And you will see good people break down.
Yeah.
I've seen divers, right off the top of my head, one of my favorite stories, I trained this dive team. And we'd been in these lakes, and these guys had gotten through probably 3/4 of their training. And we show up one day, and the dive team leader comes over, and he goes, hey, go tell Smith over there that we're going in the river today. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, hey, man, we're going to the river. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We're having a good time. And he's like, no, man, I quit.
Oh.
Why? Well, I thought we were diving for fun. Oh. Yeah, dude, we are. But guess what?
Yeah.
When the call comes in and somebody's in the river, we're going in the river.
Right.
And he went back, got his bag of dive gear, came up, dropped it, and walked out. And he was probably a 12-year law enforcement officer with SWAT and every other credential.
Yeah.
Big burly dude. And he's like,
no,
I'm out.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was his
journey.
end. Yeah. And then, it happens.
And you're still here.
I'm still going.
And we're still glad you are.
Yeah. I appreciate it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. I love teaching diving. I love hearing stories even, 20, 30 years now, where I taught somebody years ago, and I'll still get phone calls, text messages, whatever, Facebook messages of somebody going, hey, man, just thought about you. And we just did this. We did a recovery of this.
What a legacy. What a legacy
it's cool.
to give to, yourself, but also the world of, this perspective of how we treat, these, really vulnerable situations and what we see as our part in it, and doing those hard things and doing it in the safest, kindest way possible. Thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
Kevin.
That's what I'm here for. And, as long as I'm physically and mentally able to do it, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
So we got plenty to do and lots of dive stuff. And
lots of sharks to feed.
We're going back. Yeah. My buddy Slate still, he'll call me up or just send me a text. Your sharks miss you. Get back down. It's like, oh, come on.
Got to get to the sharks.
Got to go play in the ocean. And for the mental health side of it, you do need to get out. You do need to have that break. And one of the things we've been working with, and a friend of mine, his name is Woody Tinsley. He's working on his PhD, and he's working on his PhD thesis of how mental health is helped by diving. And he's also working with crisis counseling and that kind of thing.
I would love to read that when he's done.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
He's a really cool dude.
Because we know cold water is very effective for treating treatment-resistant depression, and there's a lot of people doing the ice baths now and all the things. But why not? And we know nature is so healthy and wholesome and health promoting, and so. Yeah. Okay. Well, you'll have to save my number so you can send me that when he's done.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for listening. Be gentle with yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to How Would You Rate Your Pain? Please subscribe on your favorite listening platform so you never miss an episode. And if this show made you think of someone, please share it with them to help us grow. I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Bartell. You can find me on Instagram at the_happy_therapist_. This show is not intended as medical advice and should not take the place of therapy or other mental health services. Please consult with your doctor or mental health provider about your own health. You deserve all the support. How Would You Rate Your Pain is co-produced by Wavelength Studios and Chattanooga Podcast Studios and is part of the Podnuga Network. Graphic design provided by Josh Wilhelm at JW Creates and music by Michael Crosa. I'm Dr. Tiffany Bartell. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time right here on How Would You Rate Your Pain?